apparently Prince Charles was emotional. Camilla was in tears. What are we talking about? Hi, good morning. Neil Sean here in the very heart of London. Nice to see you today. This is just a quick report as ever to recorrect things that you may have read in the mainstream media that are simply not true. But it's always good to get a headline, isn't it? And of course, you have to think about they have to sell newspapers, and more importantly, they have to make sure that we click on to the websites, etc. What we do here on this channel, and this is the whole point of why I started it, was we see so many negative stories, so many anti-truths, that, I'm in a wonderful position of working within certain media organisations, but independently. So of course I'm allowed to say to you exactly what I find out, particularly when people don't necessarily do their research, they just follow the clickbait. You get the picture. The particular story all stems from, of course, the recent visit back here to the United Kingdom of the former royals known as Harry and Meghan. They came over at the wonderful invitation of our gracious monarch, Her Majesty the Queen, and rightly so. She wanted her family around her. Not too close though, you'll notice. I think what a savvy lady Queen Elizabeth is. You could all learn a lot from her, couldn't you? Simply because she just knows exactly how to keep the right people at arm's length. That's just my opinion on a rare occasion. Interesting though to note also that this particular report, which is spread across the media, states that His Royal Highness Prince Charles and Camilla, Duchess of Cornwall, had an emotional reunion with Harry and Meghan. Well, first of all, what we can tell you is that simply didn't take place in the context that they're saying. We do know, or we are led to believe, that Clarence House will not confirm, neither will Buckingham Palace or Kensington Palace, whether Charles did indeed have the time in the very busy Platinum Jubilee schedule to interact at all with his youngest son, His Royal Highness Prince Harry. Now what's interesting here, I do think, is that normally they're very keen, the royal household, to let you know the truth, the story behind that. So what we can only ascertain, and as ever we have to say allegedly, is that this story is simply fabricated. Now the reason behind my reasoning for this is this: there are no people quoted from the royal palaces. There's nobody actually quoted who's the press officer, which is normally at the bottom of the page should you require any further information. And also it popped up in a United States gossip column in a national newspaper. So go figure that of what you will, A nice story, and some might say, of course, planted to counteract all the negative publicity regarding that ongoing bullying debacle, which of course our gracious Majesty the Queen was brought into. I thought that was really, the wrong thing to do, particularly of a lady who's had such an unblemished record. You don't need to be associated with things like this. Now a lot of people could say, well, it's spin doctoring at its very best. Does it work? Not necessarily, and that's the reason why we wanted to tell you this here on the channel first. According to all very good sources, Prince Charles and Camilla did not have the opportunity to get emotional and spend time for any length of time with, of course, Prince Harry, Meghan Markle, and we believe Lily. We're not quite sure where Archie was during this whole visit, whatever you want to call it. I know the stories, you don't need to tell me about there was nannies and no children on the cars, all that sort of stuff. I get it, but you truly don't know the story until you're there. They could have been in separate cars, they could have been in a separate plane. Who truly knows? What we do know so far, according to that good source, is that Prince Charles and Camilla simply, with their hectic Jubilee schedule, didn't have the time. So where this story came from, truly, who knows? Neil Sean in the very heart of London.